So this is what's coming to me today. And I feel like it's something that you have to kind of experience from the inside to kind of have context. But where the word says, don't be conformed by the world, but be renewed like in your mind. We often think that, I think that we can have this impression that it is like, focus your eyes on pleasant things. Here's how God is for me. And it just kind of run through this script of good things to say, pleasant things to say, things that sound good, happy, positive. And I'm coming to discover with the Lord that it's the renewal of the mind of truth. And how the world has been conformed. The world has been conformed in darkness to believe. Individuals are conformed in the world to believe. The darkness of the world is, I am an orphan. And the renewing of your mind by the Spirit is, I am His. I am His son. I am His daughter. And when I speak from, you can only really know this from the inside out, it's because we don't realize how much we are conformed by the world to believe that we are orphans, needing to do things, otherwise to not be forsaken. Like how much fear gets us to be domesticated and held down, and we're encouraged not to fall apart, and we're encouraged to stay together. And it's like you can have a moment of weakness, but make sure it's just a moment, right? Whatever you do, don't get angry. Even the word says be slow to anger, but I don't think this is what it means. This has to be from the inside looking out. Because whenever you look at these verses in the Bible from the outside, that being conformed by the world to believe you are orphans, you are believing that you are lacking and you have to put something on. But from the inside looking out, you find that you belong to Him and you were whole and you were encouraged. And there is this permission. And I believe in this permission is where there is the opportunity for your mind to be continually renewed by grace is can be as I ought to be with Him. I can be as I ought to be with Him. Right? And it's not a one-time deal. It is a continual renewing in your mind, the relational aspect of you and the Father. You think that He is going to forsake you if you do this or if you don't do that. And I think you have to experience the places where you feel like you're going to be put to shame because the world has conformed you to believe that you will be put to shame because the world has put this darkness delusion on you that you're an orphan and you better act right. And you better do this, and you better stay in these lines, and you better hold it all together, and you better stay positive. But He seems to bring you into places where you are squeezed, and what comes out of you are the things that we consider ugly, the things that we feel ashamed of, the things that we're saying, well, thank you, God, for allowing me to, experience this with you, but I'm going to try to keep it together next time. Like, what can we do to not get to this place? And I feel like the Father is just like, it's not my design to put these guardrails on you to prevent you from expressing yourself how you want to express yourself. But in fact, it seems to be His design that I'm experiencing through relationship on the inside with Him is this permission to let go fully and to be received fully. And where you think you're going to be put to shame, you're actually received in that place. Where you think you're going to be put to shame, you are honored. And this will renew your mind as you have the permission to fall apart with Him, as you have the permission to get angry at Him, and it not being a one-time deal because you fell short of holding it all together, but this welcomed expression where you find Him on your side, like in a way you could never know unless you turn on Him. I think just yesterday I was just like, fuck you, God. Fuck you. And here's the difference now. Before there was like this, like trying to hold it together. And so He would just wait. and then boom, I would let it out. I would let out what's really in me. And it would be this thing where I feel like I'm going to be put to shame. And I was so not used to being received in a place where I behaved badly that it was like, okay, I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to put this back in. But the Father with me is just like, no, let this out so you can see that I am on your side like no one else is on your side. How I will not forsake you in the places where you feel like you're going to be put to shame. Because I find that in expressing emotions with him, I see that in the light, emotions are neither negative nor positive. They're not ones that I need to get a handle on to become more self-disciplined with, and others that I need to lean into more fully. But no, I am accepted by the Father. I am beloved by him. And the more that I express myself openly, and it seems to be this grace that has me in this place where I'm squeezed, and the things that are in me just come out. And since I have no strength and no motivation to hold anything in anymore, it comes out more freely and more quickly. And in this way, I feel like my mind is being renewed as the things that come out of me, where the world has told me to be ashamed of, he honors me. Repetition is strengthening and confirming the renewal in my mind of the truth that is, when these things come out, he receives me. When these things come out, he does not put me to shame. See, it's not having to do this or do that. It's just wherever you are, he is there with you. And it's something you just kind of have to experience with him, and then experience with him. And I think you will become developed in you experiencing this thing with him that then begins to judge everything that you learned before. See, the goal is not me saying, fuck you, God, right? Or not saying it. It doesn't matter. There seems to be an open space with him where he's not saying, okay, I'm going to give you a certain amount of grace on this, but eventually you need to stop cursing me. He's like, no, this is a heart posture thing. I know that you were just expressing yourself. You have no other outlet, no other place to take this, so take it out on me, and you will find that I will receive you in the places where you feel like you're going to be put to shame. It's not until things that are brought into the light do you see the truth. And we're thinking that's like bad behavior that's then going to receive the justification of shame. You should be ashamed of your behavior. Now that it's in the light, here, you're going to be ashamed of this. But instead, he seems to reverse engineer it, and he's like, I will let these things come out of the dark and into the light for you to see that I am not like them. I am not like anyone you ever knew. And there is space with me to let these things out. And there is grace for you to let these things out. And you will find that with enough time goes by, you will be closer to me than you would have ever been trying to keep it together. He's like, I don't need a yes man. I don't need a yes woman. I just want you, your honest heart. I'm not worried about where we are going. I want to show you that I'm with you where you are, accepting and receiving you where you are, not a future version of yourself that is somehow more disciplined or has it together or has somehow been able to take positive, negative emotions and turn them into positive ones, that you've got more self-disciplined, right? You've been able to have more focus. That's not what he's doing with me. And I will have an unfiltered channel, I guess, with how he is revealing himself to me. Because that's all that I got. That's all that I really care about. And obviously it's my relationship back to him, as I am the one who's coming from being conformed by the world, to be ashamed of negative emotions, be ashamed of being weak in this way where things just come out. But no, I'm experiencing the Father in this way that I will speak to the world about. He does not put me to shame here, right? Jesus says to the woman at the well, I know everything about you, but I know what you have said about you. And now I'm judging what you have said about you and what you've believed about you. And then you will be received in the place where you've been put to shame the most by the world. This renewal of your mind will show you who you belong to. And then you will effortlessly go about saying, look and meet the man who knew me first. Jesus. He is not like anyone else there ever was. And this is something you just have to experience from the inside continually.